year, SGA tackled one of its biggest topics in years when students proposed legislation questioning if Chick-fil-A aligned with the Elon non-discrimination policy. Some wondered if this was an appropriate topic for a student forum. If another issue were to arise during your presidency, how would you approach it? Does a topic of similar magnitude belong in a forum such as SGA?
Well, I think this is a very simple question to answer, or at least address. And the solution to a problem that is truly contentious and as divisive as the one that we experienced in the fall, it can only be counteracted by one thing, and that's community conversations. There are a lot of excellent opportunities that Elon students were given to give rhetorical responses to large groups of people, but in no occasion was there a small group of people from both sides of the issue brought together to converse about what the true sticking points were. This didn't happen on a Senate level, and this didn't happen even on a community level that I was aware of. The first step that I would take in a similar situation would be to get the people on different sides of the issue into the same room and not let them out until we at least had an idea of what we were looking for.
David Patrick Brown, 2 minutes.
Yes, I would agree with a lot of what Scott said. I think that one of the most important things that can happen, and the best thing that did come out of the Chick-fil-A discussion, was that there was a discussion. There was an opportunity for the student body as a whole to participate, whether it was attending Senate meetings, speaking with their representatives, anything of that sort. I think is an excellent opportunity. However, at the same time, I think that sitting down with a select number of students, although it's definitely a good way to resolve issues, is a little bit difficult to do in terms of working with the entire student body. There were so many people who had things to say on such an issue, and if something was to arise similar to this, there would be a lot of people with stuff to say as well. So I think that sitting down with a select few students is going to be difficult to do. I think that having that discussion, as difficult as it was, in such a forum, again, is the best way to do it. I think giving the student body an opportunity to come, speak their mind, share their opinion, and speak with their representatives is the best way to resolve issues like that. I think it was proved in the spring as we were able to have a great discussion, and I think moving forward is the way to do it as well.
Great. Moving on to our second question. Elon University has given all of us wonderful experiences. How do you plan on utilizing SGA to ensure that every student has the best experience at our university? David Patrick Brown, you will go first.
Yes, I think that it's certainly true that every student at Elon has had a great experience, and I think that SGA has helped with a lot of those in terms of the little things we've done over the years to improve the quality of life. And I think that's the best way that the SGA can continue to help the students at Elon is by doing things to improve the daily quality of life of students. I know as I've been campaigning, I'm sure Scott has as well, we've had the opportunity to talk with so many different students and hear so many issues and concerns. I've heard everything from someone mentioned earlier, having coffee in the library. Someone else has mentioned that the Fine Arts Building doesn't have enough water fountains or even a drink or snack machine there. Just little things like that that can only be found by reaching out to the student body and making a connection. And I think that the best thing the SGA can continue to do is to work with students to make sure that we reach out to the average student in the student body, ask them what their concerns are, and make sure that we provide a forum for those issues to be discussed and resolved.
I believe that SGA is a powerful tool for students to be able to expand their experience here at Elon. We already do this, I think, in a very significant way through our special allocations process and the fund. And I think that the key to making sure that students are engaged on a level beyond just the funding that they receive from organizations, we have to increase the opportunities that they have to converse with their individual representatives. I think the most underutilized tool for this is the organizational council. Having served on it for 2 years, I understand that if it were reorganized and properly used to communicate with organizations that they represent as SGA senators, I know that this would be a way for students to easily channel issues from their respective groups to SGA so that we can address them. I think the key for SGA to be more productive on a level beyond our funding structure, as I said earlier, is simply to make sure that students know how to get in touch with us. And I think that's what we're doing.
Great, thank you, gentlemen. School safety is an issue on everybody's mind. As a student leader and the potential face of this university, how will you assure that every student feels safe on Elon's campus? Lesmer.
Well, I think this is obviously a complicated issue as we continue to live in times that we're constantly reminded of the dangers all around us. I think that there are really 2 key aspects of this. First of all is the exemplary support that we get from the Elon Town Police, Elon University Police, and our security staff here. And their continued work with e-alerts, as well as other forms of making sure that we are made aware via infamous Smith-Jackson emails, if nothing else. Their constant attempts to make sure that we know what is going on needs to continue to be supported by student government. But I think the next true step to that really circles back to the concept of community. Feeling safe somewhere isn't necessarily always just knowing that all the doors are locked and that there are people watching over us. It's knowing that if you are in a situation, you have 5,200 other people that would be there to get you through it. And I think that that's something that mentality can only be created here once we all begin to have conversations on a much more community level than I believe that we have. And I think that SGA can be a powerful conduit for that, as we've seen over the last 10 years.
I certainly agree. I think that the most important thing we can do, as Scott started off with, is to make sure we continue to build our relationship as a student body with the Town of Elon Police, Fire Department, Elon University Police, and our campus security. I think that SGA is an excellent way for us to provide forums to allow those representatives of those organizations to come speak to the SGA so we can disseminate information to our constituents. And at the same time, I think it's a good way that we could also perhaps sponsor some sort of forum where a representative of each of those organizations could come sit down and be asked questions from the general student body about how their organization operates, how they're working to help the student body, and to continue providing for the safety of Elon. At the same time, I think SGA has a great opportunity, as we already have discussed and touched on several times. The SGA is there to help what the students want, and they are there to listen to their concerns and to pass them along to the appropriate party or to take action on them if we can. And I think that concerns about student safety can certainly pass through the SGA. I think we've had that discussion in the past with last year with the racial slur incidents on campus, and I think the SGA did a great job of leading that discussion and making sure that we reached out to the appropriate parties and expressed concerns of the student body. And I think that that's the best way still, is to make sure that the SGA is a forum for student concerns, to make sure that students feel unsafe on campus, or there's something that they can be done to increase student safety, that they come to us, and SGA can not only support that, but make sure that it's passed along in the appropriate channels.
Thank you. Moving on to our fourth question. Other than being a current representative of SGA, what previous experience will you bring to the presidency if you are elected? Please speak to some of your outside involvements and also your personal interests. David?
Yes, I think that there are a number of things that I can bring to SGA's Executive President office in addition to my role the past 2 years with SGA. I've served as president of several different organizations on campus. In the fall, I was president of one of our political organizations and had the opportunity to work with several hundred students who are on our email list, and to be able to not only work with them, but to plan events to make sure that we were able to get things running smoothly and have the opportunity to, at the same time, not only manage those people, but to work with other politicians who want to come on campus, just as the SGA would have to work with administration or senior staff who are not your average student body. At the same time, I'm also involved with the Honor Board, which I think might be the thing I'm most proud of serving on at Elon. I was elected my sophomore year and have continued through that my junior year, and will be on it my senior year as well. And I think the Honor Code is something that's very important to Elon University, and I think that that's something that needs to be continue to be stressed, can continue to grow always. And I think that that's something that I would be able to bring to the office of SGA President that would certainly provide a great background. And then finally, I've had the opportunity to serve as the chairman of the Elon University Fund for the past year. Now, I know that's not the same as serving as executive treasurer, as Scott has had. I've had limited interaction with all the different organizations on campus, but I've had the opportunity to see how different groups plan events, how they organize them, and all the different opportunities that they're providing for students to do on campus. The Fund works with groups that plan events that are low risk and that will provide free activities for all students. I think having the opportunity to see what those events are and how they can be planned and put on, I think will continue to be great for the students of SGA who use some of those ideas and share them with the student body as a whole.
Well, I think that most of the opportunities that I've been involved with outside of SGA while at Elon have centered around programs such as the Law School Business Case Competition Team, the Law School Business Fellows, and various organizations such as SEED. And the thing that I've found that I think prepares me most to be student body president, at least in these roles, has been being able to represent Elon in several venues, whether it's in Montreal at a case competition or in New York City as part of the Business Fellows meeting with alumni and businesses that are considering relationships with the university. This has been an opportunity for me to understand how we are perceived from the outside and how impressed people are once they have the opportunity to interact with their students. And one other significant leadership activity that I have outside of SGA is certainly the Elon Network, which you guys should all come out to April 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. Alumni Gym. And the idea there, if you're not familiar with it, is bringing together Elon students, Elon alums, friends of Elon, Elon parents, anyone that will give anyone a job, bringing them together so that we can continue to develop ourselves on a reputational level and on a placement level in the professional world, which is something that I know every single person in this room and everyone watching at home is thinking about what they're going to do when they leave Elon. And that opportunity has been very significant for me because I've been allowed to work with hundreds of students over the last year and figure out what they want as a career and how to best get to it. And that's been rewarding and something that I hope that I can apply in SGA as well.
Great. This is our fifth and our final question. By the end of your term, what are the two most important changes you would like to see enacted on Elon's campus? Lesford.
Well, I think that the most important changes, I guess to address first from an SGA level, is as I've alluded to a couple of previous times, both in questions and in my speech, is that SGA is really a powerful tool for every student organization to figure out what they want to change on Elon's campus. And you know, this happens to the Treasury. I spoke with an individual 2 days ago who wants to make his senior project basically like a lunar rover kind of thing that can be a solar power generator to take college coffee and other small events off grid. And that's just a cool opportunity. And using SGA to allow people to fund those projects as well as get ideas up the chain. I mean, we were able to see over the last Senate term 3 occurrences wherein someone had a statement they wanted to make and they used SGA as a conduit to at least explore that issue. And I think that allowing SGA to be as accessible as possible is the easiest way to effectively change this.
David?
I think that my answer is going to touch on really what I touched on in my speech, and that is that the SGA is an excellent form of communication with the student body as both the representatives and then via SGA with the senior staff administration. I think that the Student Government Association has an excellent opportunity to not only hear the concerns and issues that students face on a daily basis and to possibly fix those issues, but to make sure that they are discussed in an appropriate manner and that we can reach a solution that is for the best of our students. And I think the second thing I would hope to achieve would be to continue to allow for important discussions to happen on our campus. I think that the Student Government Association is made up of individuals who the Elon student body respects and feels that they should be elected to their position because they will be the best representative possible of them. And I think that continuing to provide a forum for difficult discussions as those representatives of the student body is a very vital role of the Student Government Association, and I think something I'd like to see us continue. Not necessarily saying we should have discussions that can end up being divisive or cause controversy on campus, but I think that having every student remember that the SGA is there to help them and to bring to light issues and concerns they have, I think that's the most important thing that we can do moving forward.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck. Good luck to all candidates, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in.